but we are fine. So welcome to week number 5. We are just missing one more week, and it's fun. It's been a little bit weird because like it's like we have seen each other, but we're going to see each other next week, uh, and and I hope that some of the things that we have studied during the class has helped you um, to improve your speaking skills, right? Today we are going to focus on different things. So today is gonna be I'm gonna be talking about the data analysis and also some aspects related to speaking. So there are no tips regarding like how to make a presentation or something like that, but it's more about uh, language. Okay, so we're going to practice. We're going to do some practice, and I hope that at the end of the class, you may be able to practice a little bit and also to learn some issues related to pronunciation. Especially today we're going to talk a little bit about pronunciation, some tips about pronunciation, and also we're going to talk about your research project, right? So like around 9:30, 9:45, we want to take a 20 minutes break for you to eat something in case that you haven't eaten, and I mean, you can eat during the class time, right? So there's no problem. So today we're going to have we're going to start our class with a very short activity related to speaking, and everybody is going to participate. Okay, so we're going to take a couple of seconds to develop this activity, and it's more like a free talking. Okay, and if you want to brainstorm and put into practice some of the things that we have learned, you can do it. Got it? So it's an individual talking. So today we're going to have a conversation, and when I say a conversation is once that you are done with your speaking, you can have a couple of seconds, and yourself as audience can ask any question to your classmate. Okay, so we're going to have like this type of conversation. That's what I say, it's kind of conversation. So we're going to have like some mini talkings, but these mini talkings are more related about daily life events. Okay, so that's why I say we are going to we're going to um, make this activity. Just let me find in my Google folder the link for the website. Okay. Just let me find it. Just, okay, it's over here. I'm gonna share it in a couple of minutes. Okay, just this is not working. Okay, so yeah, the link is not working today. I don't know why. Just let me get Okay, I'm gonna make the question. I prepared a game, but it didn't save. So I don't know why. So we're going to, I mean, we're going to work on this different thing. Okay, so today we're going to have some talking, and I will be addressing some of you, and you will be talking about different topics that I'm gonna assign. And as I said, the person listening can make some questions related to this. Okay, so we're going to start, and we're going to start with Daniela. Hi, Daniela, how are you?
Hi, good morning.
Hello, how's everything?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Well, kind of.
Kind of. It sounds like you just woke up.
No, it's like I have a cold.
Oh, you
I
have a
have
cold.
cold. I'm cold. I
O-
don't know how to say.
Okay,
Anyway,
you don't know how
yeah,
you are
that's
today.
why my voice sounds a lot deeper than have to be.
Okay, don't you worry. Just Nain, I created the game in a spinning wheel, like I did the other day, but now that I checked the link, it's not working. I don't really know why. So I'm not gonna spend like much time, like making it again. So we're going to make the questions. So Daniela, I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give you each of you what I'm gonna try to do this to give some situations, and you have to speak about this situation. Okay. So Daniela, what has been the most embarrassing moment in your life?
Oh, great. Yeah, let me see. I have plenty of embarrassing.
Have you had plenty of them?
Yeah, of course, but let me think on one. Let me see. Oh no, I'm just um. Let me double check. Yeah, I have some embarrassing experiences, but let me check. Hmm. Let's try. Yeah. So the first the first experience that I can think of is when I started high school. Yeah, I I made it. I got confused with the classroom that I was going to do my classes, so I entered in the wrong one, and everyone was like,
Looking at
when
you.
the teacher got like the attendance list and all the things. I was like waiting for him to call me, and he didn't. And so that's why I realized that I was
Okay.
in in the wrong classroom. So that's one of them. But I have plenty of embarrassing experiences, but this one is like the
The
the one
most
that I
embarrassing.
no, no,
Okay.
no. No, the one of the most embarrassing.
Okay, good. So good. Thanks for sharing. That anyone wants to ask a question related to what Daniela said? You were at Univo, right? Was no, you said in high school, right?
Yeah, in high school, but in the my first time of the university, I made it.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I understand. Does anyone want to ask something about this situation to Daniela?
I hope she feels good soon.
But that Danny, that's something very common. That happens to, that has happened to me a lot of times too.
Oh, really?
I was about to say that.
Uh-huh. Yes, right, Natalie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
why I don't feel like too embarrassed to tell you
So
guys.
that's something that happened to me like once, but it was not like embarrassing. I'm gonna share something this very quickly. So I was teaching English, and I was late, and I went to get my CD player to my locker. So I didn't realize that the floor was wet, and the class was not in the university, it was in another building. And basically there were a lot of people. So I was like running literally. And because I was like running, I fell down. And you know, like the funny thing is that I was on the floor, I was all wet because the floor was really wet. And that in the CD player, because I felt when I was about to go to the floor, I released the CD player, and the CD player was flying in the air. And then, you know, like I was on the floor all wet, the CD player was on the floor. I checked that there were some students that were laughing. A couple of them got close to me, and I'm telling you, like in that place there were like 20, 25 people around me, and I was so wet and I was on the floor. And then my students were like, teacher, are you okay, are you okay? And then I could see that some people were laughing. Obviously I would have laughed too, Hilda, so don't worry. So I would have laughed too, but then it just this very silly question. When something happens, when people get wet or fall down, people always ask, se cayó, se mojó. And I was so mad at the moment because people were asking me si me había caído, right? And that made me feel so mad. But anyway, I just stood up, and then I tried to clean. People get me some towels or something just to be a little bit drier. So that, I think that would be like the most embarrassing for me. Okay, Natalie, it's your turn.
Yes.
Same question if you want, or you want another one.
Uh, I think that it can be another one.
It can be another one. Okay. Okay. What has been the most important moment in your life? And why do you consider it as the most important?
Well, I consider that one of my, let me think. Well, I consider that one of my important life, one day, very important, was the day that I was graduated for the teaching degree, because I was study a different career years before, and people always uh, tell me, have telling me that you need to finish a career and things like that. And I was like, I know that I have to finish a
Yeah.
career, and that I was give up with the other career. It was because I have different um difficulties. You know, I was studying in a university in which teachers sometimes do different things with students, and if you don't want to do it, so they put different obstacles in your life. So I consider that when I graduate from the degree, it was the most important day.
Okay, good. So this is your second degree, Natalie?
Yeah.
Oh, that's super nice. That's cool. Glad to know that. Someone wants to ask something to Natalie related to this? No? People are quiet.
Thank God.
Thanks. Yeah, no, I mean, it's in communication, you know, it's important to make questions. Okay, good. So thank you so much, Natalie, for sharing. Giovanni, that's another question for you. Okay.
Hi, good morning.
Okay, good morning. What has been the most challenging experiences that you have faced so far in your life, and how you have approached it?
Oh, there have been two
Mm-hmm.
challenging experiences. Um, one of them is become independent.
Mm-hmm.
At when I was 18 years old, I moved to San Miguel, and I started a new life. Uh, I started working. I also wanted to enter at university, but I couldn't because at the same time, uh, the same year, my father passed away, and
Okay.
was really challenging.
Mm-hmm.
But I kept working. I kept doing my best, and then next year, I entered university, and now I'm here.
And now you're
About
here.
my career. Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah.
Okay, good, good. So thanks for sharing. I know everybody has had challenges in life, right? So it's good. So where are you from, Giovanni?
I'm from San Miguel, but it's kind of crazy. I was born here in San Miguel at the
Mm-hmm.
age of 12 years old. My family and I moved to Arambala, Morazán. Then
Uh-huh.
I 5 years later, I came back uh, to San Miguel in 2015. And then in 2016, I started to study at university, the associated degree in English. Then in 2019, I started studying the bachelor's degree in English.
Oh, so you switched.
Yeah.
Okay, good, 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 good. So thanks, Giovanni, for sharing. Anyone wants to ask something to Giovanni? Are you curious about something that he said?
Just want to say I'm sorry about what happened with his dad.
Okay, good. Yeah, you know, some one of the biggest challenges in life is dealing with grief when someone passes away. And personally, and probably that may be Giovanni's case too, when one of your parents or a close one leaves this earth, uh, sometimes you lack of energy to to continue with life. But later, that same feeling is like the engine to make you or to push yourself harder, right? Like, okay, so this is not, for example, like many times, you know, specifically, like a human being, I said, like, you know, I'm so tired of this. I want to do another thing. So I always remember, you know, my mom's words, and I say, yes, you know, I need to keep on moving. I cannot be stuck in here. I need to improve. I need to do this. And so even though she is not here, she is like still pushing me to give my best. So the same time, you know, that same feeling uh, of giving yourself comes from these type of situations too sometimes. So yes, I'm sorry about that, Giovanni. But anyway, but you are about to finish, you know, so it's just a couple of months more, and then something
Yes.
something I'm really excited. For example, some of the students that I had, I think it was last year, just graduated a couple of weeks ago, and I'm super happy when I can see your post, when I saw their post, you know, graduating with the attire, the graduating attire that looks so pretty. I really love the attire that you get at Univo when you graduate. It just makes me feel so happy, you know, that even though I'm probably until the end, you know, I was able to meet you, and you know, you're about to finish. So thanks for sharing, Giovanni. The next one is Nain.
Okay.
And how's everything going?
Let's say it's going good.
It's gone good. Have you had breakfast already?
What is breakfast? I never
What
have
is
breakfast.
breakfast? just watch out on your food. You need to eat something. Okay, okay, Nain. Who has been the most inspiring person in your life?
Damn, that's a hard question. I have a couple of them. So I would say, first of all, it would be my mom, because she was like raising up 4 kids without a, help from nobody. And none of us ended up being like, gang member or stuff like that. So I would definitely put her on the first. And academically, I think I will go with two. Number one, it will be Mr. Peña, because I met him long time ago, and he wasn't the Mr. Peña that everybody knows now. I
Mhm.
in his process, and I have seen like how he became the guy who is right now, and I think that's why I really like get him as one of my mentors. And second one will be two persons. It will be Felix Gonzalez, and it will be Pedro Vasquez. I think those are also two teachers at the university that I love and I respect a lot, because besides being teachers, they are my friends. So Pedro has done so many things related to education. He has been in so many different places, everything, with educational purposes. So I think I want to be like that, and I'm hoping to, do those steps as well. And the last one, which is, as I said, the same situation, which is Felix, is because his attitude at the time of teaching. Like, you can have pretty tough students, and that guy changed somehow my life, because I was having a really hard time one time. Like, I didn't know what to do with my life. I was messed up. I think I was even like somehow depressed. And he took me and said, "What's going on?" And he put me in a situation that I had to deal with me and understand that as a teacher, there's nothing else more important than knowing what's going on with your students and trying to adapt yourself with their situations, because you're dealing with human beings. And it doesn't
Mhm.
level you're teaching, you have to understand that you're not teaching, something made out of steel, you're teaching human beings.
Yep.
So that's, I would say, the people that I got, that every time I think about myself in the future, I want to take a little bit of goodness from them and put it into me.
Okay, that's sweet. That's really nice that you think like that. And yeah, and it's amazing, like to see how a couple of how some professors have helped you, have helped you having a different mindset in your life, right? So that's pretty nice. And your mom is your first one.
Yeah, because, I think it's because of the situation that we have had in this country. And now
Yeah.
that I understand that maybe I wouldn't be able to do it as well as she did related to that.
Okay, good, good, good. And sometimes I don't know if that happens to you, like when you are living your life and you're having problems, you say, how did my mom do this? Or how was my mom able to deal with so many things in life?
It
So
comes a little bit crazy, but I am not the kind of guy who talks to his mom like I am the I don't call her mom. I call her by her name, and I have like a nickname for her, which is Colocha. So I am like getting in the house, it's like, "What's up, Colocha?" And I
uh-huh.
actually in English, and then she's like, "No, todo bien," and it's like she understands some stuff all the time. I don't talk to her about my personal stuff sometimes,
Yeah.
because I think, you know, I try to keep those stuff for myself, and I try to like deal with them because she's old. I don't think she need to know some stuff, because you're gonna worry. I think
Yeah.
everybody understands that at the end.
Yeah. So what you want to do in life probably is not another rock.
Exactly.
in their shoes, right? So, okay, good. So thanks for sharing, Nain.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so we're moving to Brenda. How's everything, Brenda?
Hi, good morning. I
Morning.
think that is all big, I think.
Okay, I think you say. Okay, Brenda. So this is your question. So think about the hardest moment that you've gone through in the university, and how you change that difficulty into something productive.
Mm, the hard moment.
Yeah, that you've been in the university so far, and how you've changed your mindset towards that problem.
Well, I think the last year, I think, and when in the first years too. Well, when I was in the first years of the university, I don't have idea that's really choose the career, but
Mhm.
just I know that like English and I want to be a teacher, but I know I really sure that I want to do. Right?
Mhm.
Well, but in the last years in the teacher practice, just really no, and I think that is when I give the first class because I'm really nervous.
Okay.
I never been in the classroom like a teacher, just like a student.
Yeah.
But um, all it is okay. Give the class. It is all. And I think that is the other thing that is uh, how to communicate because I think that is had all problems when pronounce words and to because in my case I child and I difficult to speak a lot of with another people and I
Okay.
think that is hilarious to speak it that is all.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Anyone wants to ask something to Brenda about her challenges at the university? Teaching practice is something. It's something really hard sometimes, especially when you being shy. So I hope that experience has helped you a lot in improving your communication skills as well. So we're moving to David. Are you there, David?
Yes, Mr. Hello.
Hey, good morning. So David, so let's remember a little bit before you joined the university. Uh, did you have any other choice besides studying being a teacher? So what was the choice, or this is what you wanted to study for your major?
Now, my first choice is lawyer.
Oh,
Uh,
lawyer.
yeah, um, I always want to study lawyer because this is interesting for me because you had to defend another person
Yeah.
or get advice for different topic, like a
Uh-huh.
family, how to, uh, and not isn't because that I like to fight with another person. Is uh, yeah, all my life I interesting of this career before this, but I like to teach to another person too.
Okay. So so when you were when you thought about studying, why did you prefer teaching English rather than becoming a lawyer?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
No, I'm not sure. I just decided, nah, English.
English.
I would like to teach English in the school.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah, I think that my father is a teacher and did advise me that it's a good
Oh,
career and
okay.
you can do this and this. So this was this support me to choose that uh, career.
Okay, perfect, perfect. That's kind of curious that you wanted to become a lawyer. Yeah, some people probably may not think about it like, but what I wanted to study differently. Okay, so thanks for sharing. Alejandra.
Hello.
Hi, Alejandra. How's everything going?
Good. Thanks God.
Okay, what's the weather like over there right now?
It's really crazy. Yesterday
Really?
was really cold and today is hot. And
Yeah.
tomorrow will be cool.
Okay, that's a spring, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So Alejandra, this is your question.
Okay.
If you had 3 wishes in life,
Ugh.
what would you wish for?
3 wishes.
Yeah,
That's difficult. I want a lot of things.
you want a lot of things.
Yeah. Maybe it will sound childish, but I still like wishing this since I was a child. The first one is to get my parents together again. I have been like thinking since I was a child, and maybe this will be the first one. The second one, if it is possible, to give more years to my like parents, because I can like think of, or I cannot like think about the idea that they are going to like they won't be with me. So that's the second. And the third one, I I don't know, to ask for more wishes, or
To offer more
if
wishes.
it is not possible to do that, I can say that I will like ask for let's say a comfortable life with money and everything.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, thanks for sharing. Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
the first one, it's not like childish. It's probably sometimes you balance more happiness rather than something material, right? So so that always came to my mind too, because it was so weird not to grow up with my dad. I mean, same happened to me. So, and I always wanted, I wish, like that my parents would be together again. And, I never understood why sometimes adults take wrong decisions. And I was like all the time, yeah, this is not right. This is not right. So yeah, I totally understand that feeling. So it's not like childish. It's just sometimes what you want for life, to be together, to be completely happy, right, with the people that you love. So yeah, I understand that. And I think this question popped up the other day too, and somebody said, hey, I would like to ask for more wishes. Yeah, for sure. That would be something that I may ask for too. Okay, good. So thanks for sharing, Ale. So we're moving to Kristen. Are you there, Kristen?
Yes, Mr.
Hey, Kristen. So if you were the president of El Salvador, what would you change right now?
Okay, let me think, because I kind of like don't like this kind of things, like political things.
Oh, you don't like that?
Yes, but let me think, what would I change? I think one of the main things, I will put more effort on education. Because I think that's like the most important thing in a country.
Okay.
To provide good education, another one will be related to the hospitals. In this case, the public hospitals, because people like they criticize the service in hospitals, public hospitals, and I think it's because I don't know, maybe their payment and the way they have to work under stress and all that stuff. So I would like to change those two things.
Okay, good, good. But you know, if you run for president, you have a vote. People can vote for you. Alejandra just wrote in the chat that she would vote for you. So,
okay, thank you.
So
thank you,
may, good. I mean, priority according to you, it's education and health, right? So that would be something that you may change.
That's right.
Yeah, and Ajansi would vote for you too. So you may have some.
Yes, 2 votes.
Yeah, you already. I may vote for you too. Yeah. So you may have some votes. So it's okay. So why don't you like politics, as you said?
It's because I've been like watching that thing like very near, let's say, because my mom worked at the city hall.
Okay.
2009, I think, and it's not a good thing to be in, you know.
Yeah.
Like people, it's no good sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. That's something that I hate about El Salvador. Sometimes people just think so differently, and when people think differently to you, they just become really stupid. And I'm sorry for the word, right? But just people just, I mean, so that doesn't work too much over in here. So anyways, but thanks for sharing. So we're having a couple of people more that are missing. And Yancy, you're missing too, right?
Yes, I am.
Yes, you are. Okay, so you are there. Okay, Anna Yancy, your question. If you had the chance to pick one place in the world to spend your vacations, where would you go?
I will go to England.
England?
To London. Yeah.
Why England, London?
Because the culture is very different to ours. So it's a good way of learning something new. And also because there are people from different places. So you can find people that are from America, that you can find people who are from many places around the world. So it's like really diverse. And I think that England has like a lot of history and many, I don't know, it's like amazing the way that they are so polite and they think really different. Also, they have a different pronunciation, so it's a good way of learning new things. And yeah, I would go there.
You will go there. So the pronunciation too, that's something that also attracts me a lot going to Europe, to learn how to speak differently. You know, the accent is very different from ours, American English, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So which places would you like to visit?
And maybe I would like to go to the Tower Bridge, I think it's the name. I don't remember. The London Eye.
Yeah, London Eye. Okay.
Yeah, I would love to visit a lot of museums. Because we don't have so many museums here. And
no.
Yeah.
No, we don't have museums here. I know, India. That's right. That's right. Okay, very good. So thanks for sharing. So Hilda, you're missing, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Hilda. So, what would you tell people about El Salvador? Normally, people have a misconception about us that we are violent, that our culture is really bad. So, what would you tell them to make them think differently?
Okay, one of the first thing that I will say to them is that people here tend to be kind, even though they don't know them. They may be strangers. They are going to get a good treat for them. I mean, from us, that we work hard to achieve what we want, and that we also have beautiful places, and once they are here they will notice that we are kind, that they will like it. And I mean, every country has some violence, but it is
Mhm.
not what we should focus on. There are so many good things that we can miss, and that you will need to go there to notice how beautiful the place is, how nice the people is to you, and how many things you can learn from them. And you
Okay.
can just learn it once you are there, because it's different, what I say from what you can see. And since I'm used to this culture, when you are in a different one, then you start to notice different things and they will get a good impression of it.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ida, for sharing. And I think we're missing only one person, if I'm not wrong. That is Nixon.
Good morning.
Hey,
Yes,
good morning. How's everything, Nixon?
I'm doing good. Thank you. How are you?
Doing pretty well. A little bit hungry. We're going to have a break in a couple of minutes to go to our break. So I'm gonna get something. I'm just starving.
All right. Yeah,
Okay.
that makes two of us.
Okay. Okay. So you're going to be the last one, and with you, we're going to break down this activity. What would you tell people who have problems to learn English? What would be some of the recommendations that you may give them based on your experiences in learning another language?
Oh, great. Yeah, thank you for that question. So, I feel like the main barrier that people need to break is, they need to stop caring about how many mistakes they make and what people would think about them making those mistakes, because it's a learning process, and with every learning process you're going to make mistakes. There are things that are going to happen, that you just can't, uh, you don't have control of.
Yep.
For your pronunciation, it's something that you can't expect yourself to learn how to speak um, fluently with just learning 1 or 2 years. It's a long-term process that it all depends on how much you want it. You know what I mean? You have to be able to imitate the way that the people in the culture that you want to learn from speak. And
Yeah.
for example, Americans, they have a certain accent, and it's not even just Americans. Like in America, there are different dialects or different accents that people have. For example, you have people from California, they speak a certain way, like a little bit uppity, and then
Mm-hmm.
people from New York, they have like a more of a Eastern accent, you know what I mean? Then you have
Yeah.
people from the South. People from the South talk like hillbillies,
Yeah.
and so there are different accents, and then you have different ethnicities there. So in this case, people who are like from the Middle East, they have like a very thick accent. And
Yeah.
Latin people who are from Latin America, they have another different type of accent too. So if you want to learn how to speak English like Americans, you need to be able to imitate the way they speak, say the words the way they say them. pronounce them the way they pronounce them.
Yeah.
If you want to learn how to speak like you're from England, like you need to understand that it's not the same as American English. There are words that are different, pronunciation that is different. So sometimes you might think, well, I've learned it a different way, but it's like, yeah, you did, but you learned the American way.
Yeah.
Most of us have learned the American way of speaking English. So I think surrounding yourself with the language that you want to speak is very important. Watching your TV series, your movies, your um, music videos, or anything that you're gonna watch it in English, or in the language that you want to speak.
Yeah.
If you have your phone, I mean, your phone, you could put it in English, and most of us have had our phones in Spanish our whole life, so we know where to go, even if it's in a different language.
Yeah.
So that would help a lot too. Conversate with people in English. Don't be scared to make mistakes. Make sure that you are fully committed to learning this language, and if the faster you drop the nervousness, drop those that feeling of being criticized, the faster you're going to learn. And don't be scared to imitate them, because that's the only way that you're going to actually acquire the language the way they speak.
Okay. Good.
Yeah,
Good.
I think that would be like very important.
Yeah, I think so. It seems to be that like you are the person who likes to who likes to to help people, like telling them, hey, no, you need to practice, like you sound very supportive.
I try to give them like positive advice so that they can keep going.
Okay, perfect. So thanks for sharing, everybody, for participating. So I just wanted to close with the last question, because this is going to give me the little jump to go to today's topic, to what we're going to study today. And as Nixon just mentioned, one of the important things is to improve your language in terms of pronunciation, right? So he touched a couple of aspects that are important to highlight. But I don't want to be the one talking. I'm gonna play for you a very short video clip. It's like around 4 minutes. So what I want you to do is to write notes, to write down the main ideas that you will see on the screen. So basically, it's a short video and it presents some tips, 10 tips to improve your communication skills through improving your pronunciation. So that's what we're going to focus today. And I'm going to share with you the video. And it's right here. Share sound and share. So here we go. Now, as I always do, I'm gonna mute myself, and I'm just going to play the video so you can watch it in better quality. Okay. Don't forget to take notes, please, because we're going to discuss each of them separately, and you're going to provide also your insights about it. So I need you to watch the video carefully and be ready to discuss it. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Try to speak and to talk based on your experience, some of the tips that you may see right now. Okay. Okay, perfect. So those were the 10 tips. And we're going to talk about each of them right now. So I would like you to be very, very receptive on this. We're going to spend a couple of minutes talking about each of them. So do you remember number one? Who remembers number one?
Using IPA.
Use the IPA. Thank you. So what does IPA stand for? Someone raise.
International phonetic alphabet.
International phonetic alphabet. Yeah, exactly. That's the IPA. Now, some of the things that we need to differentiate between going to the tips, and I forgot about it, is remember, pronunciation is quite different from having an accent, right? So pronunciation is paying attention how the words are pronounced, and also how you give the right intonation to certain words in the sentence as well. So that's pronunciation too. So pronunciation involves different aspects. Accent, or having an accent, is the particular way in which we can speak, right? Because as Nixon mentioned, people in the US speak differently. He said there are people in the South that have a different pronunciation from the ones on the North, people from New York, people from people from different parts of the world. That's what Nixon said, and I really like that because I know that you are aware on that. So having an accent obviously is something that gives you a plus related um, to people from other countries, for example. And obviously pronunciation involves the correct pronunciation, or knowing how every consonant or every vowel is pronounced, right? So there are different ways in which you can you can you can practice as we learn. And the first one was related to the IPA. So being related to this, what has been your experience with IPA?
Lord, it was very crazy stuff. I used to in a call center, and I didn't know. I mean, I knew a little bit about the IPA, but I didn't know that much. Like 2 or 3 words, And I remember I was supposed to get some information from my clients, and those crazy ass people will not pay attention to you when you're trying to explain them something. They are gonna be just straight to what they want. So I was supposed to gather that information, and this lady started she was from China, so she was or somewhere, and she had this crazy accent, and she started using the IPA. I was like, what is she saying? And then I understood what was going on with that. So I think knowing that can save your job.
Yep, basically. And the IPA basically helps us a lot in those type of cases. Like, you don't know the correct spelling, and at least with IPA you may be a little bit you are more familiarized on what the other person wants to speak or what you want to say. So there is, and I know people working in call center may have this experience of I don't understand what this lady is saying or what this person is saying. And it's because of that, because of the different types of pronunciation. So I'm going to share with you a website from London School. So you may find this londonschool.com phonetic alphabet. So it's telling you, and this is one of the different ways that you may learn a little bit about APA. So over here, you can download examples of IPA sounds. And you just need to be familiarized with vowel sounds. Remember, in Spanish, we have only 5 vowel sounds. But in English, we have more. Okay, so you just need to make sure that you know what the correct vowel is. For example, I always tell my students, in the past, I used to teach this class called phonetics, and I always highlight the importance of knowing specifically the vowels first. Why the vowel first? We mispronounce words a lot. If we are learning a new language, you get, I mean, obviously we are applying this into English because that's our of matter of knowledge right now. But you can also learn other language through IPA. So you just need to find out the language, and then you're going to learn the pronunciation. So, for example, and this is something that you need to be very careful to, and I always tell this to my students, make sure that the source that you are looking for has similar symbols throughout dictionaries. So if you are like the person who likes to check dictionaries rather than going to websites, or checking websites as well, you may see that there are some symbols that may differ, and then they call it like IPA symbols, right? Obviously, the IPA is the standard, but there are some dictionaries that also arrange or make up their own symbols. For example, and this was like when I was learning English, the most famous dictionary that we used and almost everybody used is the Chicago dictionary. I don't know if you've ever seen that dictionary before. The Chicago dictionary?
No.
No. Okay. So probably, yeah, it's because, you know, student, you are not using dictionaries anymore. You just Google them. But I remember that the Chicago dictionary was yellow. It was a yellow dictionary, and it had the pronunciation of the word. So that was something so cool for me. Obviously, by that time, you know, it was a little bit difficult to find a dictionary with the pronunciations. So un amarillo con rojo, yes. I think you've seen it, Alejandra. Yes, it's yellow with red. So that's the Chicago dictionary. And that was like the standard. But obviously, as I said, if you compare some other websites, you may see some differences. For example, the IPA, yeah, specifically at school, yes, Alejandra, para la lista de útiles, a veces en los colegios, o más que todo en los colegios, piden por diccionarios específicos en inglés. So that's what they used to write, the Chicago dictionary. And the teachers used to ask for these dictionaries to the students because of that. So knowing the IPA will help you a lot, because then you are familiarized with the symbols. You only need to go to the beginning of the dictionary, or also to go to the website and check the symbols. For example, like in this website that I'm sharing with you, the letter the sound in this case is represented with the normal like in Spanish. But in some dictionaries, you may find this symbol with the and the E, right? And what you see in some other websites is the but like the symbol is like a 3 that is written to the back, not to the front, right? So that's how you may see, and you need to be very careful. Yeah, they have pictures in that dictionary too. Yeah, and how to pronounce. There are some other websites, for example, that they show you how to articulate the sounds, and you may find different videos on YouTube, right? But what I want you to pay attention to is that how important it is to learn about the International Phonetic Alphabet. Obviously, if you are teaching English in a very basic level, you're not going to ask your students to buy a dictionary and memorize all these sounds, because that's not the purpose. So if you are teaching, let's say, or you want to improve your pronunciation, you need to make sure that you are using the IPA for the right way. If I'm teaching English, I'm going to use the IPA just to make sure that I'm pronouncing correctly. If I am teaching in the university, for example, I may include the IPA and teach the students some basic concepts about IPA. Okay, so the IPA is really important to know these days, because people are learning, as Nixon said, different types of accents. And when you see, for example, a TV series, they may have different accents, and that the accent may seem to be that the persons are pronouncing the words differently. For example, yesterday I was watching the TV series that I'm watching right now. The name is of the series is called The Shooter. It's about a guy who is involved in different events, and there is this guy who is one of the bad guys, and he is from Texas. And it's kind of funny to listen to him, because his pronunciation is different too. And it's not only the accent. For example, like when they are talking, the vowel sounds are longer. For example, we say meat, and the E sound is long. So you need to know about all these things. So it's necessary to know about the IPA and also about the symbol. Remember, the symbols normally are written between brackets, right? So to identify or to teach them, you have to tell the students that you are using a different symbol to make to differentiate between what a sound is and what a normal spelling is. So that's what sometimes the students get confused. For example, we have the first sound, that is e, that is a clear sound, and then we have the sound, which basically, when you are teaching this sound, it's kind of funny to see the students like moving the jaw from one side to another side, because they want to make the I together. So the best way to learn about the IPA is just to exaggerate, as we're going to see in a couple of minutes. That was another tip. So the I, like cat, hand, nap, flat, have, right? And then we have some other symbols that differentiation, for example, between the different types of sounds that we have in English, that we have the we have the short we have the long which will help you a lot. So knowing about this will identify whether if you have improved your pronunciation or not. So that's my recommendation. Try to focus on IPA as much as you can to improve your pronunciation, right? For example, right here we have the short U, yeah, like put, look, should, cook, right? And this is the short A, fun, love, money, one, London, come. So this is the short A, and then we have the schwa, that like that's one of the sounds that probably people have a lot of problems with. That the schwa, as I always tell my students when I'm teaching the schwa, is the schwa is just an unidentified sound. The schwa can take any vowel sound because that's the way it is. It is a weak sound. It's not a specific. It's not an it's not an a, it's not an e, it's not an e, it's not an o, it's not an u, it's not a e, it's not a long a. I mean, it can be any vowel, any written vowel, right? Obviously, as you may know and as you may remember from your previous classes in your university, there are spelling rules, right? For each vowel. By knowing the symbol will help you a lot when you want to reach out how to pronounce these words. Also, the IPA is included in Google Translator. You may see the symbol in the Google Translator, right? In the Google Translator, sometimes when you just write one word, Google also shows you the symbols, the phonetic symbol. So that will help you a lot to identify each symbol. So we have the vowels, as I always say, if you want to study more about IPA, focus on the vowels first, right? We start basically from the simple ones that are the short vowels, with the exception of the schwa, the last one, that you know it's a huge problem even to write it, because you know it's like the e but upside down, right? So I'm gonna recommend, if you are gonna teach or you wanna learn more about vowels, leave the schwa at the end, right? So and then after we have the short vowels, we have the long vowels, right? For example, like E. Yep. Or we have the sound. The sound, that is the syllabic form of the schwa, that is written with an R. So this is the sound. Like nurse, heard, third, turned. So you may write it like that. Also, we have the long sound, the long vowel of the O, like talk, low, bored, yawn, yo. Yeah, that basically is the only O sound that we have. We also have the long U, right? Like few, boot, lose, etc. And we also have that long A, fast, car, hard, like that. This is the A when you open your mouth, when your mouth is widely open, right? So then after you start learning about the IPA, my suggestion, as they suggest over here in the website, is to study the diphthongs, right? I'm gonna share with you the website in the chat box, so you can take a look at the website too. So you can study the diphthongs, yeah, like ear, like the diphthong of the e and the schwa, near, ear, etc. Then we have the diphthongs for the e and the schwa, the a, the oi, the I, the o, the ow. Yep. So as you can see, we have so many sounds in English. So basically we have 2, 4, 6, 6, 8, 10, 11 sounds only with the basic. I mean, not including diphthongs. In English, in Spanish, we only have 5. So then you study the diphthongs, and then to differentiate between the different consonant sounds. And obviously this is not a phonetic class. It's not the purpose, but it's just as a reminder. Yeah, improving your pronunciation is just paying attention. I mean, improving your communication skills also depends a lot on pronunciation, right? The different vowels, as we just checked, and also the consonant sounds. Remember, and as we also learned in the video, one of the most important things, and I know this is true, but we don't do it, is to exaggerate the sounds. We do not exaggerate the sounds too much. And if we want to have a better pronunciation, we need to do so. Now, for example, we have the consonants that are the fricative sounds. The fricative sounds basically are those sounds that are produced with the tip of your teeth or your upper teeth and your lower lip, right? Or the fricative sounds, as you may remember, are those sounds that vibrate when you put your hand right here in your in your larynx. I mean, pharynx, right here in your throat, right? If vibrates, that means that the sound is fricative. So that means that there is some friction, and that friction in your mouth produces the vibration, right? For example, if you get your hand right here where your tonsils are, right here in this section, you may experience when you are talking some vibration. So those fricative sounds are sounds that vibrate. For example, the F, v, f. You say full, full, vest, thought, thought. So that is sort of vibration. So the only thing that you need to remember is that these ones are, the fricatives are between friction that you produce, as I said, with your upper members of your articulators, and then with the ones that are below, right? Some of them may have some frictions, some of the others may have less friction. Also, we have the plosive sounds. As the name says, are those sounds that produce some p of air. Yep. So the p of air comes by pronouncing these consonants, like the p or p or t, just like that. Así como está sonando ahorita, no tanta explosión como el cohete que acaban de oír, pero así se oye la explosión. ¿Ok? P, b, t, d, k, g. So all of these sounds that are called plosives are produced like an explosive sound. And then we have the affricates, that basically is the combination between two sounds, the ch and the j. So those are the affricates. And then we have more, and I'm not going to talk about all of them right now. As I said, it's not a phonetics class, but it's just as a reminder. The nasal sounds, the the and the ng, right? With the last one, it's always funny to pronounce ng, but it's normally the sound that we use when we add ing to the words, or ng or nk sometime. For example, when you say think, so the sound before the k sound is also the ng, right? Think. So, and I can speak, I can go over here and just explain all of them, but the point is, it's really important to remember the IPA, right? We also have the approximant sounds like that it's like the rolling we also have this other sound that students usually have problems with, that is the E, the glide sound, E. So this one is, for example, when you say yellow, is not Y, right? It's not Y, as we have it in Spanish, like the double L. So this one is not Y, is E, yellow, usual, tune, yesterday, yard. So this sound, the approximant sound, the glide approximant sound E, is a very different sound. I always tell my students is like, try to identify it as it is like a diphthong that is E at the beginning. Because if you check the diphthongs over here, the ones that we checked, is only E and the schwa. Then there is no other sound like ia, io, etc. It's oi. Yeah, we have the diphthong oi, but we don't have any like ia or ie or io. So it's only the E and the schwa. So I always, because when I was teaching this in the past, students were like confused, like, so how do we use this one? It's like the E, like a very short E sound, and another consonant, right? For example, and this is a very common problem. For example, the word university. So normally, and as you may learn and as you may remember, we use the particle da. For example, when you say the house, the house, you don't say the university, right? So normally, for example, you say the university. So people usually have problems like, for example, like university too, because university, you say the university, you don't say the university, right? And this is the common problem, like when they say, pero antes hay que ver si la palabra empieza con vocal o termina o empieza con consonante. For example, you don't say the usual. You don't say, you say the usual, because that is a consonant sound. It's not a consonant. It's not a vowel sound. So when you say usual, that starts with a vowel sound. So it's a big problem. It's a big mess. Students always have this issue with this. So my recommendation is the same. So also we have the W sound that basically is a U sound. Wall, walk, wine, etc. And then we have the L and the variation of the L. I don't remember right now that this has a special symbol. I don't remember right now, but it is low, lots, leap, long, pill. This is the L when you roll it. So basically, this is the first sound. This consonant is when it comes at the beginning, low. But this one, the one that is at the end is this one, because the way you roll the L is different. Pill is different the way you roll it. Cold. So if you pay attention how the sound is pronounced is different from when you have the sound at the beginning. So when it is at the beginning is the normal L, and when it goes in the middle or at the end, the way you roll the L is different. That's why it is written with another symbol. Got it? So, as I said, you can spend hours and hours trying to learn the IPA, which I may recommend you to do it to improve your speaking. Okay. And I'm sorry I took so long, but this is something that I really like teaching about the symbols and etc. I used to make my students, for example, have dictations with the sounds. So I was just like reading a transcript, and the students had to copy. I don't know if you did that too in phonetics, but I used to make my students do that. Also, I used to write like, I used to give them like pieces of paper with symbols. It was only symbols, and I would ask them to read for me. So these were like the reading test with the IPA system, and they were also transcribing a lot. So yeah, I mean, it is really exciting. I mean, pronunciation is really exciting to teach. So that was the first one. Okay. So do you remember the second one? So we're going to cover three right now, and the first one was it took some time because of it is a lot of things to talk. So do you remember number two, tip number two in the video?
Discover your mistakes.
Discover your mistakes. Good. Thank you so much. So how can we discover our mistakes? The first one is through the IPA. Got it? So the IPA. So when you have the IPA, you may obviously identify if you have been mispronouncing the words, right? So you discover your mistakes. How you may discover them? We have learned about this in the past. You remember a couple of weeks ago, I asked you to record your voices online. So recording your voice may be a good way to know. Also, to watch TV series as many as possible, to listen to speakers pronouncing the words properly, and then you may see like, oh, I'm mispronouncing this word, right? It's not pronounced this way, so I'm gonna pronounce it another one. So discover your mistakes is something that must be obligatory. Even though you have practiced the language for much time, there is always something new that you learn and that you can improve. So that can be number two, to discover your mistakes. Good. So what is number three, the last one before we go to the break?
Break things into sound.
Okay, break down words into sounds. Normally, we want to focus on fluency, right? And when we want to bring more fluency to our speaking, we speak fast. And when we speak fast, we may probably be mispronouncing words, which is something that we need to be careful about. So if you are going to improve aspects in communication through pronunciation, try to break down these words into, the words into sounds. How can you do that? Go and work on your pronunciation syllable by syllable. Got it? So this is also important when you take a look at an online dictionary. Normally, when you see the words, syllables are separated between small dots in the middle. And for example, that's the way that you can know, that you may realize that they are syllables. For example, I can look up for the word encyclopedia. So if I ask you, tell me, how many syllables does encyclopedia have? I'm gonna look for it right now. how many words how many syllables does encyclopedia have? So I'm gonna take a look at it right now because that's a really hard word to pronounce.
6.
Yeah, you took a look at it, right? So it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then, for example, as I said, you can break them down. Obviously, this is not IPA. This is not IPA, right? But, it helps because, the word is split into syllables. Syllables. Yeah, syllables, no syllables. Syllabus. And for example, you can change the type of accent if you want to have it British. Encyclopedia. So
encyclopedia.
Slower.
Encyclopedia.
Okay, good. So this is how you may find it in Google. And as I said, there are many options. For example, you can write IPA. You may find the word right here. So this is you may take a look at it. Okay.
Encyclopedia.
Okay, so with IPA, so you may take a look at this, and in order to avoid confusion, you may just focus on the IPA, which the pronunciation is this: encyclopedia. Encyclopedia. So what I'm doing too. Okay, you're fine. Thanks, Ale. So so in this one, you can also see if you focus on IPA, you may see these symbols too. First, you may see the differentiation between syllables with these dots over here. Yep. So as you can see, these dots are telling us that they are syllables. Obviously, there are different type of stresses too. We have main stress and secondary stress. So the main stress is written with an apostrophe. So it's telling us that the main stress is this. So when you are pronouncing the word encyclopedia, this is where the main stress should be. And the second one, or the second stress, is in the second syllables, inside, encyclopedia, right? So over here, this symbol is telling us that we have a secondary stress. Primary stress is with an apostrophe, and second stress is with a comma. And obviously, we do not need to write again the periods to separate, because the comma and the apostrophe is telling us that we are dividing the syllables. Okay, so just need to make sure that you take a look at the correct pronunciation. In Google, as I said, and as we checked, we can compare the symbols. These are the symbols that we normally study with IPA. But if you check Google, what we got from Google, this is not IPA. Because this one is like encyclopedia. That's what it sounds for me, because this is like a encyclopedia.
Encyclopedia.
which is not what we get from the IPA. So that's my suggestion, to break down words into sounds by focusing on syllables. And if we focus on syllables, it would be easier for us to make the pronunciation closer to a more natural and a closer American pronunciation, right? So we are studying 3. We're going to continue after the break right now with the other with the rest, with the other 7. So I'm going to pause the recording right now because we're going to be on a break. So right now it's 9:47. We're going to take 20 minutes. It's not 30 because, you might probably go somewhere else and I need you to stay here in class. Lo que voy a hacer, what I'm gonna do related with the last activity for the presentations that we are going to have next week is that I'm going to open a space in Campus Univo, so you can propose your topic, okay? So you can propose your topic. You have today to propose a topic. When I'm writing about proposing a topic is to avoid having repetitive topics, right? So I'm gonna open a space and you need to complete it today. Ok, para este día ustedes tienen que poner su propuesta del tema, siempre con el objetivo de ser un mejor, puede ser algo, how to avoid procrastination, por ejemplo, que lo acaba de decir, ¿quién nos dijo? Ana Yancy. Vaya, por ejemplo, me imagino que a ese tema pues ya no lo tiene que agarrar nadie, porque ya lo escogió Yancy, ya lo mencionó acá. Entonces, por eso vamos a hacer de que ustedes pongan su propuesta para este día. Antes de la medianoche pueden subirla. Lo van a hallar en el espacio de semana 5, porque ahorita estamos en la semana 5. Y suban su propuesta de tema ahí. Si hay alguien que se le adelantó, yo voy a estar revisando durante la tarde, porque como yo les mencioné, solamente voy a dar mi vueltecita en el almuerzo con la suegra. Espero venir más o menos tipo 4. Y I'm gonna check the topics. Yes, Hilda?
Es que creo que a mí no me aparece la semana 5.
No, I haven't included it yet. I'm gonna do it after I finish the class. So this is week number 5.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, you're welcome. So as soon as I finish with the class, I'm gonna open the space, week number 5. I'm gonna upload the class and I'm gonna leave that space that it says last presentations proposal. So over there, you can write your topic, right? If someone if someone would come to you ahead and submit a different topic, I'm gonna ask you to look for another topic. Okay, so not until today. I'm gonna give it until tomorrow because there may be a couple of persons who are not in class and may not be watching this right now, so it's gonna be for tomorrow. So I'm gonna give you some time, and also for you to brainstorm. My suggestion when you brainstorm topics, do not think only in one topic, but have a backup topic, right? So have a backup topic in case I tell you that someone else chose that one before. Okay, so as I said, it's going to be a topic about having a chance to practice all the things that we have studied so far, brainstorming, speaking in public, practicing your pronunciation a little bit too, what we are learning, and some other things that we have learned in class. So the time for your presentation should be between 9 to 10 minutes. So every person is gonna speak like around 10 minutes, let's say 9 to 10 minutes. And I'm gonna upload the rubric. But basically, what I'm gonna include for the rubric is some aspects related to fluency, pronunciation too. Also remember what we studied in our first class that was related about an introduction when you make a presentation, also in the development of the topic, what you are presenting, to provide examples, and also the closing. So I'm gonna be evaluating the 3 stages for the pronunciation, for the presentation, and so on. Topics, as I said, can be open. Obviously, you're not gonna present things related to grammar. For example, you're not gonna explain how to use the verb to be. But probably you may give some tips on how to teach, for example, or how to use technology to teach English, or process to be more creative, or topics like those. Okay, so that's going to be the presentation. And as I mentioned, and as we did last class, obviously there will be some of you that won't be able to make it to campus. And so far, there are only 3 persons that have talked to Mr. Peña and have permission. There are only 3 persons. Okay, so the rest, I'm expecting you to see you in campus next week. Okay, so tomorrow I'm gonna upload, tomorrow or no later than Tuesday. We are going to, I'm going to upload the rubric for this. So, but the point is that I would like you to focus more like a TED Talk activity, where you can introduce yourself, like the opening. I know you are very familiarized with TED Talks. You know how they start. We have already studied that. You know, like you can begin telling a story. You can start by opening, by throwing up by throwing a question, to make a reflection. You know, like the introduction. Then you develop the topic, provide examples. This is what something happened to me, etc. Right, and then the closing. Right, so something like a TED Talk activity. If you are going to use technology or any other type of resource, is welcome to. Just let me know in advance if you need something from me. Okay, so any question about related to this activity before we continue with the tips?
Sorry, I didn't listen because I was not here. So
okay.
The topic is going to be free, or so we have to select this like today and then start like.
Yes, so you're going to you are going to send me a proposal before tomorrow midnight, about your topic. So brainstorm, have a backup topic if necessary, because the one who writes first will have a priority. And I want to avoid having topics that are kind of related. So that's what you need to send a proposal, right? Imagine one person talks about not being procrastinator, and the other one tips to avoid procrastination. So those topics are kind of related. So I may ask the second person who sent me the topic later to change it, right? So that's why you need to do it as fast as you can. I'm gonna open the space in campus as soon as I finish with the class, right? So send me your proposal and then get ready. Okay. Did I answer your question? Okay, I hope so. I hope I did. Okay, good. So that was number. So we're talking about the tips. What was the first tip? Do you remember tip number 1? The video pronunciation.
Use the IPA.
Use IPA. Number 2, we were talking about
discover your mistakes.
Discover your mistakes. And number 3,
break things into sound.
okay, yes. So what is number 4? Do you remember number 4?
Visualize.
Visualize. So what we are talking about visualizing basically is to picture in your mind how the word is pronounced or how the sound is pronounced. So this might be a little bit tricky because if you don't know how the word is pronounced, so you may probably be practicing the word the way that you speak. So the thing is, I would like you to first, if you are not aware about the pronunciation of a word, to go check the IPA. So that's what I posted. The video posted the IPA first, and I'm highlighting this a lot. IPA is our friend. It's gonna be forever there because that's the standard. So you take a look at how the word is pronounced, and later you can visualize how it is pronounced. So when we are talking about visualizing too, is you close your eyes and how you think the word is pronounced. Like, for example, we usually do this many times. Like when we are expecting something to happen, we close our eyes and we picture how it would be, right? So with visualizing, that is like trying to recall how a word is pronounced. For example, if you are talking to an American and you see that that the person is saying shoe, so you may just pay attention to how the lips are placed, and then you can close your eyes and try to remember how the person is pronouncing this sound. Shoe, shoe. So then you pay attention to how the lips are rounded, because the lips are rounded with this sound like shoe. So then you picture it and then you visualize it. And it's all about practicing. Remember, when you pronounce words, it's practice. Remember the different articulators that we have. We have the tongue, we have the tip of the tongue, we have the alveolar ridge, which is el cielo de la boca. It's called alveolar ridge. We also have the back of the tongue, the mid of the tongue. We also have the upper lip, the lower lip, the upper teeth, the lower teeth. And then you start visualizing the different speech organs or organs of speech or articulators. And then you can just say, okay, so the round, the shh. Okay, so the lips are rounded, and then you start thinking. For example, another sound that is really tricky. For example, those, the sound is not d. So when you say when you pay attention to how someone pronounces this word, like those. So you pay attention and then you start thinking and you visualize that the tip of the tongue is out of the teeth. It's in the middle. So it's not like the other sound. So you start thinking, right? Like those. It's not a D sound because that is pronounced inside the cavity. but it's outside. So, and then you go. Remember, practice makes perfection. And in this case, with pronunciation, you need to practice a lot. So that's number 4. So what is number 5? Number 5?
Exaggerate.
Exaggeration, exactly. So, you know, exaggeration in this term is essential. Sometimes it's not good to exaggerate. For example, when you are with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, do not exaggerate, because sometimes the other person feels like really stressed out, and do not exaggerate or don't make drama. Exaggeration, as you can see, is overreacting towards something just to make perfection. So when I think about exaggeration, I usually picture it like, for example, actors and actresses, when they are on stage or when they are practicing or rehearsing, and I have seen some documentaries about it, the director always tells this person, exaggerate or give me more. So, for example, like when someone is crying, the director may just screams, exaggerate, give me more. So that means that the person should cry more. Or if the person is laughing, to laugh louder. Got it? So when I see exaggeration, I always think about this, that you need sometimes to give more than you are not used to. For example, like in my case, like in Spanish, when I speak Spanish, and I don't know if that happens to you too, Spanish is like very flat. I mean, and when I listen to myself speaking Spanish, I sound like so weird. I don't know if that happens to you too. I sound so weird and I don't like it. I think that I speak better in English like in Spanish. I don't know if that's your case too, because the pronunciation is different. So when exaggeration, you can do this at home. Obviously, if you are in the bus and you start exaggerating the sounds, people might think that you are crazy. So make sure that you are in a place where nobody may feel uncomfortable around making sounds, right? For example, like the schwa. Like the schwa, you can start practicing the schwa. If you make the sound, it's like and you are like in the bus, I don't know, people may think about something weird, right? So with exaggeration, just make it happen. Try to exaggerate. Like, for example, the t sound. If you're going to say tomato, that the sound is like that, like plosive, like t. For example, also to differentiate between the two types of B, like bilabial or vasal, b, v, which is completely different. But by exaggerating, we may differentiate between the two sounds. Okay, so, and this is something like really like something we need to pay attention to. And I can speak about more, for example, like the ng sound that I was telling you. Like, for example, when you say ring, ring. So you have the g sound at the end, like the g, but it because of the nasal sound ng, you need to exaggerate, ring, okay, or think. Yes, Nain?
Part of that also applies when we are working like in a kind of job that we interact with native speakers all the time. Especially like customer service, which is like the most common thing that we do nowadays.
Yep.
I used to be working with that, and one of the things that I discovered was that when you exaggerate your pronunciation of the stuff, you got to have less racist comments related to your English. I actually did that a couple of times just to check up. You know, I was like really messed up, like I was angry, and I decided that I was just gonna be, since I am very like, I don't know, I use this kind of English sometimes that might hurt some people, being polite. So, and I was like, good morning, hope you're doing an amazing day. You know, you're trying to just be a fool. And Americans love that. It's like they won't say anything related to your English, and they won't treat you like trash as soon as you start.
Yep.
Like if you're an American.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. And that usually happen. And unfortunately, I haven't been able to cover this. And Mr. Peña asked me to talk about customer service, but you know, that's another world. Like when you are talking and they probably realize that your pronunciation is not so close to Americans, they can treat you badly. You know, like, yeah,
I want to talk to supervisor or whatever.
Exactly.
To someone in America, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, the phone call should not be, and that's another tip. And probably those who who are working in call center or customer service, you know, the phone call cannot escalate to your superior. I mean, it can't. I mean, you shouldn't. And there, you need to see, you know, like how this person is talking to you and not to your supervisor, because then you may lose some bonuses, right? And you don't want to lose money, right? So it's just exaggerating. And if you pay attention to Americans too, I mean, they exaggerate the sounds. So practice, and practice. Got it? So that's the point, exaggerating sounds. There is no reason why you should feel bad about this, you know, exaggerating sounds. You just need to be confident, and exaggerating sounds gives you confidence, because that means that you know how to pronounce the words, right? So it gives you confidence, and that also means that persons may look at you like, wow, he knows how to speak English. So if you have fluency, which is organizing your ideas correctly to convey a message, if you add pronunciation, I mean, that means that you are working harder in your communicative skills. So what is number 6? It's number 6 in the video.
Shadowing native speakers.
Shadowing native speakers. Good. Thank you, Nixon. So Nixon was the only one who was taking notes, seems to be. Anyways, thank you so much, Nixon. Shadowing is basically imitating, right? Is to be the shadow to someone. Shadowing, believe me, that's something that works perfectly in improving your pronunciation. So shadowing basically is being an echo. If someone says something, you repeat it. And you know, repetition is something that we use a lot when we learn English. If not, try to remember when you started taking your English classes there at the university, when you were taking basic English, there was a lot of repetition. So repetition is something that we cannot put aside when learning a language. So why don't we apply it when we are improving our pronunciation? So shadowing works a lot. This one, and what I like about shadowing is that you get the words in real life context, right? And how can we do shadowing? Okay, shadowing, I do shadowing, and I do it, I mean, and I know, and you may ask people around me, when I'm watching a movie, I try, I mean, not probably shadowing at that moment, but at the moment the person is speaking. So if you add subtitles to your Netflix series, you may pronounce at the same time that the person in the TV show is speaking. So I do a lot of shadowing, specifically, especially when I am alone watching a movie. I don't do that when I am with somebody because there is always who tells me like, cállate, deja oír. And you know, grumpy people around you. So I do shadowing a lot when I'm alone, when I'm watching my series alone. So I can even add some drama, let's say, to the shadowing. For example, like there is something happening, and I don't know, they are talking like very serious, and that you know that that's the tone is serious. So you can do shadowing because sometimes the subtitles come before the scene or when they speak, or probably they can start speaking and then you continue. So that may help you a lot. It may sound silly and some people may not find it like exciting, but for me, it's really exciting, right? Because you also practice your intonation, and shadowing works a lot. Okay, so that's shadowing. The best way to do so, go to Netflix or even in YouTube, then turn on the English subtitles and then read along with the persons on the TV series. At the beginning, it may not be, it may be a little bit challenging because sometimes people speak really fast, but that's where you also get confidence, and then you get speed, and then you get fluency as well. So that's my recommendation. Shadowing helps a lot. Shadowing is a technique that is not only used over here, as I'm telling you in practicing pronunciation. Shadowing, you can apply it for any type of activity in which you need to learn a pattern. You need to duplicate a pattern. For example, if you are working in a call center, sometimes they ask you to do shadowing, like to be next to an agent and try to see what the person is doing, and then you duplicate it. Also, if you are learning a skill, right? For example, I have seen this with origami, right? So the person first shows how to do something, and then they ask the students to fold the paper and to follow the same steps that the person who's explaining is doing. So shadowing is a very useful technique to instruct somebody to do something. So that's my recommendation. Shadowing helps a lot. So what is number 6? Number 7, sorry?
To read aloud.
To read aloud. This is something that people usually do a lot. For example, you've been assigned to read a book, you read aloud. Also, reading out loud, it helps you a lot because you learn vocabulary. Yep. And then you practice. And you know, pronunciation is about practicing, as I said. Just the same thing, my recommendation, try to do it in a private place when you do not, you don't make anyone feel uncomfortable, because you know, with read aloud, basically you are reading and sometimes people may feel uncomfortable about it. So be careful with that. With read aloud, for example, you can, and that's something that that like a tip to improve your pronunciation too. Like if you're gonna read like several pages, you may see, I'm gonna focus today on pronouncing this specific sound, to stress it out, so to pay more attention to. For example, you say, I'm gonna take a page, this page, and I'm going to focus on the k sound to make the sound clear, like what I'm doing right now. So when you are reading, you say, for example, come to focus on these sounds, like the k sound, and then you may also turn into something differently. So in this case, with read aloud, the only disadvantage that I see is that you cannot focus too much on understanding or comprehending the text, right? So this technique is more likely to be only for improving your pronunciation, because your brain, well, if your brain is well trained, you can get the meaning, right? Or some ideas. But if you are trying to understand the text and practice your pronunciation at the same time, it may probably be that at the end you may read again the text just to focus on understanding, right? So just do it for the purpose of practicing pronunciation, right? So that's number 7. So what's number 8?
Go slow.
Go slow. Thank you, Hilda. Go slow. That means you acquire fluency and better pronunciation if you do it step by step. If you know that it is hard for you to focus on specific aspects of language and pronunciation, try to speak slow. Try to feel comfortable. Pronunciation deals a lot about confidence, right? So if you want, you just can speak like the way I'm speaking, not too fast, not too super slow, but on your own pace. And later you can start adding more speed and then focus on some other things of language and pronunciation as well. But if you feel like you're having some issues with pronunciation, just go slow. Try to focus on specific chunks. And this is also related to teaching. When you are teaching, your students try to work in chunks. Chunks are small pieces of something, right? You are not going to provide your students everything at once. For example, I'm teaching the verb to be. First, I need to teach a vocabulary. That's the first chunk. The second chunk, we're going to practice affirmative sentences. That's the second chunk. The third chunk is teaching negative structures. So I'm going to explain it, and then I'm going to provide examples about negative sentences. And then my fourth chunk is going to be interrogative sentences with the verb to be. So the problem that sometimes we have as teachers, and this is something that you need to get, is do not explain everything at once. Go slow, do it in chunks, right? And this is the problem. Why do we have this issue with students not understanding? It's because sometimes we overload students with a lot of information. So you need to work in chunks, right? As I said, focus on vocabulary at first, then affirmative statements, negative statements, and interrogative statements. So divide everything in small chunks so it can be easily digested. So that's my recommendation. Go slow and do the same with pronunciation. If you're having issues, just make small chunks, right? Yeah, like the whole sentence. I mean, I won't be able to say this properly because I know the sentence is too long. I'm going to divide it into chunks, right? So you can do that as well. So that's number 8. And what's number 9?
It was related with tongue twisters.
Tongue twisters. Yeah, practice your tongue twisters. Tongue twisters always help. I mean, I love, and I know, and you may see that some teachers just love including tongue twisters in their lessons. I mean, there are some teachers that I don't really know where they get so many tongue twisters, like she sells seashells by the seashore, or while we were walking, we were watching Washington windows wash windows with warm washing water or something like that. I don't really remember. So there are many tongue twisters. So the tongue twisters basically just help students to practice pronunciation. I don't know. Do you have any tongue twister that you have memorized and and you want to share it with the class? Is there any tongue twister that you know by heart?
I think I remember. I haven't practiced it in a while. Peter Piper picked a pickle, pickled peppers, a pickle, pickled peppers, Peter Piper picked, Peter Piper picked a pickle, pickled peppers. How many pickled peppers Peter Piper picked?
Okay, good. That's a good one. That's a really good one. Thanks for sharing, Hilda. So you see, like this one is like to practice the p sound, which probably that's a sound that we do not have it too often in our language. So yeah, that one is a good one. Pickled peppers. Peter picked many pickled peppers, right? So there are plenty of them. So focus on that. You know, you do it for fun. If you are teaching a language class, include tongue twisters as well. Good. So that's number 9. And number 10, what is number 10? Ice cream, you scream for ice cream. Yeah, that's another one. Ice cream, you scream for ice cream.
And listen music. Listen to music.
Yeah, that's number 10. That's number 10. That's number 10, to practice with music. So with practice with music, you have your own pace on how to do that. The advantage of practicing with music is that you can scream and nobody will tell you anything, because, you know, singing is something that we usually do every day and people sing, so they won't tell you anything. So if you want to do it particularly your way, with singing along is just a perfect activity to practice. Now, what I want to share with you is a website that I always try to share with students when they want to practice their pronunciation. The name of the website, as you see, is called Lyrics Training. With Lyrics Training, basically is a website where you can learn and you can practice different skills, for the 4 macro skills. So Lyrics Training, first you choose the language that you are learning, and then you can play the song that you want. For example, I'm gonna choose this one from Ed Sheeran that is called Perfect. Or you can find many. For example, you can find from Nirvana in the case that you like this type of music. You know, Nirvana is super cool. So you find any type of artist, and what this game is about, you play the song, you can sing, you listen, you type, you fill in the blanks, so you can play this game easily. For example, you have this one. We don't talk about Bruno. This is from the movie, right? So I'm gonna check this one from Ed Sheeran. And once that you are over here, you need to pick your game mode. So you can find, you can choose beginner, intermediate, advanced, or expert. So the difficulty level will increase according to the number of missing spaces. For example, I'm gonna choose this one. Let me say intermediate. So then you click in here, quizás en otro momento, and then you start playing the song. Over here, what you see in the dashboard is the number of points that you may have, the number of spaces that you have filled in, how many correct answers you have, and the ones that you have failed, right? So you start playing, and then you see over here, and then as I found a love, and then it stops. And the red bar over here is consuming your time. So you say, I found a love. And you type. For me, darling, just dive right in. Follow my lead. And then you fill out the space, right? found a girl. And then you see, my goodness, what did he say? What did he say? And then if you do not know, then over here, the red line is going to kill you. Let's say, I found a girl, beautiful and sweet. And so never knew you were the... So over here, what you can do is, if you know the song, you can sing it, right? You can sing the song. And this also works for you. You want to practice your listening, your reading. So, you know, I recommend this, this website if you want to practice different skills. So the name of the website is called Lyrics Training. You can implement it in your class. You can have fun with your students. If you are teaching face-to-face classes, you just play it, then students can take turns. The other ones can be helping the others, filling out the spaces and so on. So there are many things that you can do. So I may highly recommend this website if you want to practice listening, pronunciation, reading, and writing at the same time. Got it? So I'm sharing that website for you with you, so you can use it in the future. So over here we have the 10 tips on how to improve our pronunciation in order to improve our communicative skills, right? So I'm going to jump quickly into the second part of the class that basically it's related to it's related to the research project. Okay, and I'm going to try to explain this. Remember, we are 1 week ahead, 1 week and a half to complete the analysis and interpretation of data. So this is the section that you need to close to end this module. This, you need to present a report with all the findings from the instruments that you have created, and I hope that you have administered, right? In our last session, a couple of weeks ago, let's say like 2 weeks ago, I recommended you and I gave you some feedback. Some of you didn't check the feedback. I checked the other day. If any of you have solved the issue of some of the recommendations that I gave you. So I checked, I took a look at it, and a couple of groups haven't done anything. So this is my concern. I don't know if you will be able to administer these instruments this coming week, because I'm going to talk to Mr. Peña about it. I don't think that you will just finish this. So I may probably need a couple of days more for Wednesday next week. So you can send me that report to give you more time. Anyway, I just don't want, I mean, I could have easily said, no, you know, this is over. If you don't present it to me, it's not my issue. So, but I'm going to try to give you more time. So please try to advance on this. I have already given you feedback. Some of you haven't texted back or make any other feedback. So Jancy, in your case, we're going to have the activity next week. Okay, I'm sorry. So Alejandra, tell me.
So I didn't know that after like checking and like working on the feedback, we have to like send it again in order for you to like check it, because we already did everything, the changes that you mentioned, but I didn't like send it again to
well,
you because we got the document that you checked just like a draft, and we create another one, a new one with with everything like.
Okay, I'm gonna try to look at it today in your case because you were a little bit delayed in comparison to the other ones. I may take a look at it today. Okay, so tomorrow you can take a look at it with some other comments. Okay, so give me.
So I have to like so I have to send it to the drive again or to you?
Yes.
To you? Okay.
Send it to the drive. Okay, where I specify that you should do it. So over there, upload it, and then I'm gonna take another revision. There are some of you that have, you know, like very minor things to change. So I hope that you have administered this information. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the analysis and interpretation of data. So the analysis basically is this is the second part. I started with the second part instead of the first one. I'm a genius. So so I was telling you, the analysis basically is trying to understand the information that you already have based on administering the instruments, right? So if you have already administered the instruments, you may have information that you need to analyze and interpret. The analysis may come in different ways, and it will depend on the type of information that you have. There are two types of information, or two types of data. One that is qualitative and the other one that is quantitative. I'm going to talk a little bit about qualitative because I think that's the one that is harder to analyze and to interpret, because for the quantitative one basically is having a number. And you know, if you have a number, it's easy to understand it because you can talk about percentages. For example, you may ask someone, or you may ask people, do you like ice cream? Just no. So it's easy to analyze that type of information because you can count. So that information that can be counted is called quantitative data. You can put this information in a table showing the frequency in a graph. It can be an Apple graphic, you know, like the circle. Or you can also show percentages if you want. For example, 10% of the population said this, the 90% said the other thing. So interpreting the data basically is the understanding. It's not giving conclusions, and I want you to understand that. It is the way that you interpret it. Okay, so probably, and I need to be very careful on this, not all the questions that you have administered are going to be analyzed or interpreted. Got it? Not all the questions. You need to prioritize those questions or those items that are more related to your hypothesis or to your objectives. So when you choose whether to use this item, you need to think, is this one closely related to my objective? Is it related to the dependent and the independent variable? Is it related to my hypothesis? So if your answer is yes, it's highly connected, you can include it. If it is connected, but probably you may say, I'm not so convinced about this answer, or probably this answer is linked to another one, you can combine both. but not all the items from your instruments are going to be analyzed or interpreted. So as I said, quantitative information is easy. For example, if I ask you and write it in the chat, write your answer in the chat, and we're going to do this exercise quickly. For example, I may ask you, do you like your specialization classes? Yes, no. And I can add another option if this was a question. Do you like your specialization classes here at Univo? Yes or no? Write it in the chat, please. Do you like your specialization class? Yes, no, a little. I can add the option a little. Okay, I can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I may stick only to this 7, 8 with Larissa. So the question can be, as I said, do you like the specialization classes here at Univo? So the population, in this case, were 13 students. 9 persons replied. And I can say that 100% of the population said yes. So I can create a graphic, and the whole graphic is going to take the 100% because they say yes. So my interpretation would be like this. Based on the students' answers in the survey administered to the students taking the specialization course, as we can see from the graphic, the 100% of the population agrees that the specialization module is likely to be or is strongly likable for them. Basically, my interpretation basically comes from taking a look at the graphic and giving the interpretation that it's telling me. Imagine if it is 50 and 50. So I may say, according to the question number 2 of the survey, we can see that there is a division of opinions between the students who like the course or not. As 50% of them agrees that they like it, whereas the other 50% may not like the class at all. So this is my interpretation. I am not drawing conclusions so far. I am just interpreting that 50% like it and some other 50% don't like it. So this, you can get a percentage, right? You can also use the media, the median, etc. But basically we have, and the most common ones are graphics or tables. The tables work if you want to show your visualization on different opinions. For example, if you have administered a test, you can point out results from 0 to 10, from 10 to 20, and then you write the number of students who have gotten different scores. So with, I think in particularly, students do not have too many issues, and I'm gonna post a link to share with you more about quantitative. But with quantitative, I don't think that students have too many issues. The problem is with qualitative analysis. which is what I'm gonna focus on right now. So what is the qualitative data? The qualitative data comes from open questions. For example, when you say, ¿qué le parecen las clases de inglés en la Univo? ¿Qué le parecen? So the question is an open question. Another type of open question can be, for example, if you wrote, ¿qué tipo de materiales ocupan los docentes en las clases? That is an open question because there is no yes and you haven't presented options. That's why it is open. With these questions that are open, students can write any type of information. And because they write any type of information or opinions, you may not be likely to see the same frequency of answers. So what are we going to do to analyze qualitative data? Qualitative data can be, for example, in the surveys as open questions, and also if you administer an interview. If you have administered an interview, 100% of the chances are that is going to be qualitative data. Imagine you administered 3 interviews, so you have data from different people. As I mentioned a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about panel forums or interviews, you need to record your interview. If you're going through an interview, you need to record it, because taking notes is not enough. It may be that you have some information that you might have skipped and you were not able to write it down. So once that you have your interview, you need to ask the interviewee if there is any problem if you record the conversation. So once that you have your conversation recorded, you need to transcribe it, right? So once that you have transcribed it, you have a document with words, right? In the case that you have issues to transcribe it, my suggestion is upload the audio to YouTube. Once that is in YouTube, there is an option that you can write a transcript. So you can get the transcript from YouTube if you upload the audio file to YouTube. There is some software in which you can transcribe audios, but the one that I may see more, that I may see easier to work on is with that, right? So you have your interview, you need to transcribe it, and then you have it on paper. Once that you have it on paper, your interview is going to be easier to analyze it. So for the other, in general, when you have your qualitative information, let's say open questions from a survey or the questions from your interview, you need to prepare and organize your data. For example, as I said, you have the transcripts, you have the documents, you have, for example, the open questions, you have them ready. So you need to organize your information, right? Because that will be the first step. The second one is to explore the data or to review it. You need to analyze, you need to read, for example, the interview many times in order to understand what you were talking in the conversation. Take a look at it many times. Also for the open questions, you need to organize it and read it many times. These may help you identify thoughts and ideas, or maybe to question yourself about different things. So you need to review and explore your information. You have to become an expert in managing your information. Got it? Then we're going to jump to number 3. You need to create initial codes. Why do we do this? Normally, when we have, and I'm going to share with you a document that I have over here, and I'm going to upload it to the platform too. Once that you have your document, you need to code it. How do we code information? When you have your information, it may be that there are different things related to the same topic. For example, this is the document says coding data into themes. What you need to do is to arrange the information into categories. For example, I can ask you, what do you like the most about Univo? What do you like the most about Univo? And then you say, well, I think that what I like the most is that the university has air conditioner. Got it? Yes, vacations. Do you like the vacations? So you may say, what do you like about it? Well, some people may say, oh, we have vacations, oh, the teachers, etc. So everybody has different opinions. So how are you going to categorize that information? By writing themes. For example, over here, this is a way that you can create codes. For example, to highlight the answers with green related to one topic. Another one, it says over here, groups and activities, it's in pink. In teal, needs improvement, and yellow, backgrounds. And this is where you start thinking. Okay, so I see a mix of ethnic and social groups on campus every day. Does have a long way to become a very diverse institution, however. Like is it, over here it says mix of ethnic. So it says green, ethnicity. Pink, groups and activities. Okay, social groups. So this is one answer from one person. Then another person says any group of people of varying backgrounds create diversity. So background. He or she's talking about backgrounds. And it says only here, but only a certain extent. So it says it needs improvement. So for example, if I ask you the same question, and this is for you to see how it can be placed in categories, highlight the answers and then put them into categories. For example, I made the same question, and this is something that I would like you to answer as well. What do you like the most about the university? What do you like the most about the university? Write it in the chat, please. I'm going to finish in 10 minutes. Yeah, what do you like the most about the university? I only have one answer. Okay, I have more. Yes, Hilda?
No sé si se fijó, pero le escribí.
No, yep. Let me see.
Arriba, antes de los yes, antes de los yeses.
Antes de los yeses. Okay, perfect, perfect. Okay, I'm gonna pay attention to Natalie too. Thank you.
Thank you.
So if we pay attention to this, we're gonna check this. We have, and I'm gonna take notes over here to do this exercise. That's why it's necessary to have a paper. So I'm gonna get a paper over here. So we have the first one, it says opportunities. Second one says Hilda, teachers. Then we have organization. Well, I need to ask Alejandra. Alejandra, are you talking about organization like physical space or organization in management?
Physical space.
Okay, physical space. Perfect. Okay, good. So these are the type of questions that, as I was telling you a couple of minutes ago, that the questions that may arise, because the answers can be very general. In this case, I am able to ask Alejandra if she provided an answer. But imagine if you send a survey with an open question and you are not able to ask again. So that means that this answer can be biased, right? So in this case, because I'm able to ask Alejandra, I may know. So Kristen says facilities. Good. Then we have Jancy says teachers too. Brenda, it's like I read over here opportunities and teachers. I also saw opportunities before, so we have opportunities. So as we can see, yes, Alejandra wrote opportunities too. So we have some answers. So we have opportunities 2 times, opportunities. Then we have 3 times teachers. And then we have organization, physical space. Giovanni says AC. And Nixon says scholarships. So we have different types of answers over here. And I may get categories. For example, some of you put teachers. So that can be a category, teachers. Then I can see some answers saying organization, facilities, and AC. So all of these 3 answers, are related to facilities, organization, facilities, and AC. So I can see 3, and then I can create a category, facilities. Then 2 persons mentioned opportunities, and then another person said scholarships. So in this one, I can create another one that is called opportunities, because scholarships are opportunities, right? So I have 3. So from all the answers that you give me, AC, opportunities, teachers, etc., I may find repetitive patterns. And from these ones, from this exercise that we just did, 3 persons said teachers, 3 persons said facilities, 3 persons said opportunities as well. So this was an open question. You will remember, I asked you, what are some things that you like about the university? And it was an open question. So I analyzed the answers. I took notes from them. Obviously, you can highlight if you have them in paper or you have electronically, you can highlight them. And then I get the answers. Once that I got the answers, I can create my own codes or create my own categories. And from this, the answers that were open or that were qualitative, I transformed them into quantitative by creating categories. So my analysis for this question would be, based on the answers provided by the interview No, but provided to the survey to students, question number 3. The students were asked about what they like about the university. We were able to see that there are different opinions, but the majority of them agree that, well, the third part of the students mentioned that they like teachers, that they like their teachers. We can say that teachers are something that they like. Another thing is that they like facilities. One student mentioned in this that that he likes the AC because there is air conditioning. Another student mentioned in this specific section that she likes the organization of the physical space, and another one, the classrooms, let's say. 3 other students mentioned that something they like about the university is the opportunities they have. Related to this topic, the opportunities that the students see basically are focused on scholarships, because the students can have scholarships to travel to another country. So this may be the interpretation that I am giving based on the categories that I created. Got it, Alejandra?
Okay, for example, if the answers are longer, like paragraph or 4 lines, let's say, we have to do the same. We have to like underline and everything.
Yes, because that is going to be easier for you to understand.
Okay, I have another question. For example, if we have an interview, it's going to be like difficult to like interview like a big like amount of students, for example 20 or 19 students, let's say, in order like to code the data. So is there like a way, or is there like a possibility to select just like some students from the total of the population, but it has to be like the total of them?
So in this case, remember, Alejandra, one of the things that you were required to do at first is to initially think about the population. You can have a total population, or you can have a sample of the population. Got it? So for example, if you have 20 students, you can have a sample of them. So instead of interviewing 20, you can do only 5.
Because we did that, we select just like the half of the population, and the previous licenciada told us that we have to take into account like the 20 of them. So in my opinion, like it's going to be difficult to interview or to analyze, like, oh my god, a lot of like long answers in that case. It's not like when you have a survey that you have like yes no questions and everything.
Yeah. Okay.
So we already have the population that are 19, because she told us to like change it and to put a total of 10. But in my opinion, that's why I am asking, because I don't know if there are a way to like change it, because it's going to be difficult.
So this is the point, and I think that we had the discussion through email. When you got the feedback, I asked you, is this an interview or a survey? Because the number of items, I think it would have been easier for you if you could have made it as a survey rather than an interview, because of that. Because of the amount of information that you may get if that was an interview. And that was one of the comments that I made when I gave you feedback. And then you asked me in the email, so is this related to this? And you clarified that it was an interview. And it was because of that. It would have been better if you had created a survey instead of an interview, because of the number of students.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
So but we cannot change it to like now, right?
You can do it, but promise me you do it today in the afternoon
The-
so I can check
Yeah.
it tomorrow.
I can work on that today, but the thing is that so we have to change when we what we have in the methodology, right?
You can change it. There's no problem about that. When you do
Okay.
research, sometimes you need to take decisions for the best to your group or for
Yeah.
the research, so you can change it. It's not written on it's not written on rock, it's written on paper. So
Thank you.
you can change it. You can change it. So if because I'm not going to be with you next module. So if your professor asks you, because I think that you're going to be with Micah again, if she asks you why you made the changes, tell her that you talked to me, and because of the amount of information to be qualitative, it was too much information to analyze. So you can tell her that I suggested you to change the interview to survey, so the information could be easier, could be analyzed easier. Okay. Good.
Okay, Lick, thank you.
You're welcome. So as I'm showing you right now, these are different answers from different people, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and they are separated in different. You see the colors. This is a gray background, white background, gray. So that means that it's different. So the code over here, basically it's telling you the specific category mentioned in the student's answer, right? So it is easier for you to analyze the information. And over here, you have the indicators, which means what green means, what purple means, or pink, or teal or yellow means. Got it? So I'm going to share with you this document too in Campus Univo, so you can take a look at it and analyze it, right? So going back to this, what you need to do, as I said, is to create the codes and to review the codes and to check them. So in my case, I always suggest you, this is a group work. This should not rely on to one person's responsibility only. Analyzing the information can be so much work. You need to put all the papers, you need to underline, you need to create categories. So in this case, it's not fair. Work everybody together. So have Google meetings or Zoom meetings, whatever you want to do. Show the screen, analyze the information together, and etc. Because it's a lot of work. Analyzing the information is a lot of work. And obviously, if you analyze the work, for example, the qualitative information, you see it, you underline it, you create your categories, etc. So then you need to write the interpretation. So this is the analysis only. So this is the visual aspect, what will help you to understand the information. But then you need to provide words interpreting what you see. One thing is the visualization. For example, in quantitative information is the graphic, is the table, and the other one is the interpretation. The interpretation is the words, right? Is your understanding of the phenomena. What you see in the graphic, in the table, is your interpretation. This is the graphic means this, and then you say it, right? And then after everything is done with the qualitative information, you need to present the theme. For example, you need to think about the audience, who your audience is, the purpose of the study, and what content should be included to best tell the story of your data. So that means that you need to make sure that you analyze, that you interpret the information cohesively, okay? That the manner that you present the information can be understood, right? Because if you only put the indicators or the categories, but you don't say anything else to that, probably it may not be understood. So qualitative information is more challenging to analyze because it takes more time. For example, you have the interview, you need to transcribe the interview. Then when you have the words, you need to do what I just showed you, to highlight, to put codes, to put categories. And after that, to see the frequency of the categories. For example, in my case, with the exercise that we just did, the frequency was leveled from 9 answers, 3 said teachers, 3 said facilities, and 3 said opportunities. How do I know that? Because I represented it visually in a piece of paper, and this allowed me to see it, and then I can interpret it. Out of the 9 students who provided an answer on what they like, 3 students mentioned that they like their teachers, and then 3 of them facilities. And in the section in facilities, I can say one of them mentioned that he likes the classes because of the AC. Got it? And then I may say some other 3 students in their answers talk about opportunities. One specifically highlighted that he likes this scholarships offered by the university. So, but how do I do this? Just by analyzing the information, getting repetitive patterns, put these repetitive patterns into categories, and then just show them. In this case, qualitative information is not presented in graphic. You can present it in a grid, something like a table, or only in text, but you don't present graphics with qualitative information. Yep, as I said, you can put it in tables showing the frequency. Like in this case, 9 students were answered these questions. The frequency was 3 mentioned 3 teachers, 3 mentioned facilities, and 3 opportunities. Got it? So that's what you can do. And I'm going to share with you also this presentation. Then you have a link that talks about quantitative analysis methods, which basically I was explaining is the easiest one, because basically we all have seen or we have created graphics before. So you need to start thinking about that, because the section or the report that you need to write, it needs to be called analysis and interpretation of data, right? So that's going to be the final report that you are going to send me. Let's see, to give you more time, and I need to talk to Mr. Peña about it. The 18th, May the 18th. Okay, initially, the deadline was for next Sunday, but I'm gonna give you some more time and I'm gonna ask Mr. Peña. Yep, do you have any question? No. Okay, so remember, you need to work on this, and also in the presentation that you're going to create. It's like a TED Talk presentation. We talked about it a couple of minutes ago. Send the proposal before tomorrow, midnight. Okay? So if there are no further questions, remember, you can ask me, you can send me emails. And I try to reply as fast as I can, right? So you can send me an email if you want to.
I just have one question.
Tell me.
For the evaluation of that TED Talk, is the presentation like the tools that we use, are they going to be part of the evaluation, or is if we just have if we just talk about the topic, is that enough, or if like the tools and things that we use.
You mean like tools, like if you have like any visual aid?
Yeah, like visual aid, or I don't know if we share like some images or something, you know.
Well, you can make a PowerPoint presentation if you want, but you know, use it for help, not to read.
God bless you.
Thank you. Okay, use it as
Okay.
a help, not to read.
Okay, all right.
But that's
but
not good.
It's not evaluated, right?
No,
if we don't have anything, if we come up there and we just talk about the topic and
yes, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. But as I have mentioned, try to put into practice what we have learned so far. You know, it's easy to identify when somebody is just improvising in the front. It's very clear. So don't let that happen to anyone. Okay, don't let that happen to you people. Okay, do not improvise. Okay.
Great.
Yeah, but material,
awesome. Thank you.
Material is not evaluated. It's not in the rubric. It's more about communication skills, not about visual aids.
Great. Thank you.
Perfect. Good. So I'm going to close right now. Dije que iba a terminar un poco temprano. Ya me atrasé. Se van a enojar conmigo. So thank you so much, people. See you next week in campus. Okay, remember, we're going to meet at Univo. Okay, so
Okay.
that will be all. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, you too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.